Good morning. Because we live in a secular culture, we often confuse spiritual health with mental health. But I learned the difference the hard way because when I was living in the back of a minivan, my mind was at peace. I was thriving mentally because I was detached from the world, the poisons of the world. However, after about 6 months, a brand new pain arose and I could feel it in my mind and my body, but I knew that it wasn't of my mind or my body. And it felt like I was living the same day on repeat. But the chaos of it is that no matter how hard I tried to fix myself, the worse the torment became. But the thing that finally allowed me to change, the thing that I experienced, is the same thing that is here today. And what I mean is that there's a story of a rich man, a young prince. And basically it goes like this. There was a young prince who approached Jesus, and he tells Jesus, "I love the law of God. Ever since I was a young boy, I've upheld all of the commandments. I've done what I'm supposed to do. And so, Jesus, because of this, I'm your perfect disciple, right? Because of this, I'm certainly destined for your Father's kingdom, right? What more do I have to do to enter your Father's kingdom?" And Jesus, in a roundabout way, basically says, "You're sick. You are a sick person." Because what he tells the wealthy young prince, the rich young prince, is that if you want to enter my Father's kingdom, if you want to be one of my disciples, sell all of your possessions and donate the money to the poor. And that was like a slap in the face, because then the young prince walks away downtrodden, unwilling to let go of his attachments to his possessions. But if you really think about that story, is the message of that story that in order to enter the kingdom of God, you've got to sell all of your possessions? In order to be a follower of Jesus Christ, you have to sell all of your possessions and give everything that you own to the poor? Because I hear that and then I look out into the world and I'm like, who is doing that? And not only that, who's actually capable of doing that? Well, let's look at the characteristics of the young prince, how the young prince is behaving and who the young prince is. The young prince is very presumptuous, arrogant even. The young prince isn't following God's law out of love, but rather he's doing it out of something like pride or vainglory. And he approaches Jesus and he's like, "Look at all that I've done. I am without sin." And Jesus says, "No, not only do you have sin, you are attached to this world. You are so attached to this world." And there's a line in the book of John, 1 John, where John is writing and he says, "Everybody has within them sin, and if anybody claims that they don't have within them sin, they are lying and the truth is not within them." They are lying and the truth is not within them. And so this young man is focused on the outside, the external world. He is combing over his life and he's like, "I've upheld all of the laws, I've done all of the right things." But he is dead inside. He has no love. And I know that because I was the same way. That was, in a way, the reason why I sold all of my possessions and moved into a van. One, because I wanted to be a writer, yes, but also because I was trying to follow God. And I thought that if I could do this, I didn't think about it explicitly at the time, but I thought if I could do this grandiose act, if I could truly go all in on the Spirit, truly go all in on the world, or all in on the living for God, then I would be made clean. I'd be made whole. I'd be made holy. I'd be made righteous. I would be righteous. But the longer that I lived in a van, the longer that I was in this state of absolute poverty and isolation, the more a spiritual reality was revealed to me. Which is that I thought that I took that journey out of love, out of the love of God and the seeking of God. But if I truly did it out of love, the love would never have died. But what I witnessed over 6, 8, 12 months is that there was a part of me which was revealed that was bitter and hateful and annoyed and frustrated. Because I could go into that state of poverty for 4 months, but could I do it for 6? Could I do it for 12? If I couldn't do it for the entirety of my life, why was I ever doing it to begin with? It's because, like this young prince, I was trying to play the role of a godly man. I was trying to, like an actor, seeing what the character is meant to do, I was trying to fill that role, but inside I was still dead. I wasn't doing it out of love. Everybody wants to be a preacher. Everybody wants to tell you what you should do. But if you were to listen to the entirety of the world, you would find that essentially it's calling everything a sin. It's putting so many rules and burdens on you, but certainly not everything is a sin. That is to say, creation is from God. Creation is inherently good. Sin and evil aren't even real. Most things are good and beautiful. Sin and evil is a perversion of the good. And one of the ways that the good is perverted is by people using the law of God, using rules and using that which you should do as a bludgeon to hit you with it, or to place on your shoulders to make you carry it, but it crushes us. Many of us are already overburdened, and when we hear all of this advice of things that we should do and the fact that everything is a sin, it's a burden that nobody can carry. And you could look at what Jesus says to the rich man also as a burden that nobody could carry. Sell all of your stuff and give it to the poor. Who can do that? Who is doing that? Who can do that? It's not happening in today's world. It's so rare. But the point in him saying that isn't that that's what you have to do today in order to be a follower of Jesus Christ, but rather let go of the burden. Let go of all of these burdens. He says, come to me all who are downtrodden, all who are overladen with too many burdens. My burden is meek and my yoke is light. So I use that as a formula, meaning if I feel heavy and if I feel weighed down by the burdens, it must not be a burden from God or a burden from Jesus Christ. It is a burden from this world, and I have conflated the two. Because the yoke of Jesus is light. The yoke of Jesus is light. But my favorite moment of just pure sobriety is when a lawyer comes up to Jesus Christ and he asks Jesus what he needs to do to enter the kingdom of God. And Jesus, despite the fact that it's a lawyer, the people who are always trying to catch him do gotcha moments. Jesus doesn't do a gotcha moment back. He tells them straightforward, very simply, if you want to enter the kingdom of God, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your strength, all of your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do this and you will live. And if you distill everything that Jesus Christ is saying, it all does come down to love. And so we don't need to complicate everything. That is how we can have life today. Let go of the pride, let go of your own will, let go of your attachments to this world. There is a promise being made, which is that if you give yourself over to love of that which is greater, love of God, and love of your neighbor as yourself, which there's an implication there, great news. You need to learn how to love yourself. That way you can properly love yourself. That way you can love your neighbor as yourself. If you don't love yourself, how are you going to love your neighbor as yourself? If you let go of pride, let go of trying to perfect your outside world, and instead recognize your need for God, and in contrition, like a young child, reach your hands up like a child reaching their hands up to their parent, finally giving up in contrition and saying, God, I am sorry. I am repentant. I am sorry. I love you. What would you have me do? If you recognize your need for God, if you love God and go all in on that love, and go all in on that love for your neighbor, you need focus on nothing else. Life is simple. Do this and you will live. And for now, that's all that I have. Goodbye.